Hello and welcome to the Gooner Talk, back again with you guys for another show and another episode of our morning 8 a.m. series, the Arsenal News Show on the Raw Reactions series. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing well. Good morning to everybody joining us in the chat box. Morning to Matt, to John. I feel okay. I did a negative test yesterday, and so that's good. It's positive, ironically, that it was negative. However, that could quickly change. Doing daily tests, I would be surprised if it doesn't change in the next couple of days. I feel like there's I'm not coughing or anything, but there's a little bit of a sore throat in the morning. Still very much isolating away from the other half, who's trapped in the spare room right now. Not against her will or anything, but she's isolating in there and waiting on her hand and foot right now with meals and everything else of the like. But staying safe, staying well as much as possible. But again, it's my throat that's the main issue at the moment. But I say tested negative yesterday evening. We'll be doing another test this evening, and we'll just keep you posted whether or not there's a show tomorrow. But thank you for tuning in for today. It may not be as long of a show because, again, trying to rest my voice as much as possible. But I didn't want to let you down again with not having a show. So here we are. And good morning to Matt and to Tony and to Mike and to Martin and to Anthony as well. Jonty in the chat box, Daniel, Robert, Marcus, Marius, Stevie, MCPE. Jonathan, Olu, Thracian King, Mark Sampson, David, Bradley, good morning to all of you guys. Paul, Harvey, GGTV for you. Ivor, which reminds me of Ivor the Engine for some reason, which is a show I watched when I was very young. MFB, Dennis, Mick, Rath, Scotty, Pablo, good morning to everybody, and so many more of you too. Sorry I can't say good morning to everybody, but hope you're doing well. Do drop a like on the video if you haven't done so already, and subscribe to the Gooner Talk to make sure you keep up with all of the content on the channel, and make sure you're also subscribed over on the Arsenal Way. We uploaded our six-a-side video yesterday, so if you want to see myself and Bailey making absolute fools of ourselves, more me, to be honest, a lot more me, to be fair, but if you want to see me making a fool of myself, then do go over and give that show a watch, because it's a lot of fun. Anyway, moving on to our charity, of course, that we're supporting in every show. Vinny let me know that we are edging closer to helping to reach the £10,000 target. So close now. Link in the description to Vinny's Runners 5 kilometres every single day in January, going forward into February now as well, helping Vinny battle this horrible situation that he's got. But he's battling bloody yards, and it's becoming very much worth it. So thank you for all the continued support. And if you'd like to show your own, click on the link in the description and go and support Macmillan Cancer Support. Moving on to the stories of yesterday that I put out, and today, this morning as well. Did a piece talking about how Ralph Rangnick's situation with the supposed divide in the Manchester United dressing room can be solved using some of Mikel Arteta's tactics. Did another piece about how I felt about Josh Kroenke's absence from the Arsenal Fans Forum, which I'm going to talk a little bit more about towards the end of the show. And then this morning went out a piece about how Manchester City have stolen Savio away from Arsenal, a young, exciting Brazilian talent, and kind of highlighting again the lack of Brazilian starlets that have been able to be secured by Arsenal. We've missed out on a few so far, and Savio is just the next one in a growing list of those. So a few pieces to check out. Link to my page is in the Football London website, is in the description as always. We kick off, though, with some positive news for our American, and well, North American, I suppose, because our Canadian listeners as well, possibly even our South American listeners too, will be able to travel in, I'm sure, to go and see Arsenal play their pre-season friendlies in America. Negotiations are underway for matches ahead of the 22-23 season to be played in America. Not confirmed whether or not this will take place in the brand new SoFi Stadium in LA, but it looks likely that Arsenal will, of course, be getting involved with the American footballing, or soccer scene, we should say. But that looks like where the pre-season is going to take place for this summer. William Saliba won his third French Liga Player of the Month for Marseille. Fantastic season from him so far. We did a show dedicated to him a couple of days ago, so if you haven't watched that update from our good friend Ben at the Marseille View, make sure you've gone and watched that. But he's doing fantastically well and won yet another award in the team. Great loan spell this is. Armando Broja is now, as we know, linked with Arsenal, but also being linked with the move to Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund. So plenty of interest in the Southampton striker on loan from Chelsea right now. Very, very interesting where he will end up in the summer, but continually being linked with plenty more teams as the days go on. So we'll have to wait and see in the summer where Chelsea end up either keeping him or selling him on, but Arsenal are said to have an interest in him, but Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund now also interested in Broja. Now, this is an interesting one. Stuttgart's left wing-back Sosa is a new player on my books. In fact, I don't know much about the guy at all. He plays at left wing-back for Stuttgart, which is a little bit strange, but supposedly Arsenal are amongst a number of teams that are looking at the player. I don't know why Arsenal would be going in for a 24-year-old left-back, to be honest, whilst we've got Kieran Tierney and whilst we've got Nuno Tavares. But he's got 5 assists and 2 goals in 20 matches playing at left-back for Stuttgart this season. Regarding kind of where he came through, he joined the club in 2018 from Dinamo Zagreb. And he's been continuing to develop at Stuttgart, obviously before Sven Mislintat, I think, joined. So you can't really use him as any kind of argument in this as to why they brought him in and have done so well yet again. But Sosa has been linked with a move to Arsenal. But again, I find this a bit odd, considering we've already got Tierney and Nuno Tavares. The only way this would make sense is if either of those two was to leave the club. But again, not sure that's likely in the upcoming summer window either. Interestingly, Arsenal again linked with a move for Lautaro Martinez of Inter Milan. Didn't really manage to get into the game against Liverpool last night, and whilst has continued to play well in Inter Milan's title, not just defending title season, but they're going for the title again in Serie A and fighting along with AC Milan right now. He has continued to do fairly well. Doesn't look... I mean, I think Lukaku was always going to be a brilliant foil to kind of his characteristics. But, you know, alongside Dzeko and the other forwards there too, he's been able to continue onwards. But Arsenal being linked to him, I still see this as very fanciful. I just don't think that Inter Milan would sell him. And he only signed a new deal with Inter Milan last summer. So if you were to sign him, Inter could charge pretty much what they want. And I think that you'd be able to get strikers as good or can be even better in the future for significantly less money than what it would take to get Lautaro Martinez out of Inter Milan. But the link coming out of Calcio Mercato is that Arsenal are interested in signing Martinez in the summer transfer window. And finally, our main story of the day is the Arsenal fans forum that took place not last night but the evening before, and the details came out from yesterday. We don't have a full rundown of the minutes as of yet. Whether or not that'll be released, we don't know. Sometimes they release them, sometimes they don't. But very thankful to Peter Hurst, who is the Denmark, I think he's the Denmark Vice President for Arsenal Denmark and admin. He is indeed, and he very thankfully provided all of the highlights of what he believed were the highlights from the fans forum. So let me get up his tweet just so we can have a look and you can see them on your screen as well. Make sure you go and give Peter a follow, very good follow on Twitter. Here's an update from the fans forum last night. Vinay, the new signings have settled in really well. Really disappointed to go out so early in the FA Cup. Carabao Cup was much better, but still frustrating to get knocked out. We are well in contention for the European places. We have got a really good chance of getting top 4, and that's what we're fighting for. So kind of that first real confirmation at the club. We know that I want to be in top 4, but a bit of a confirmation about that being a target for the season. Continuing on, he says, a lot of rebuilding was done in the summer. There are plans to strengthen the club further this coming summer. We have a very clear plan. I'm not a big fan of the January window. We were focused on seeing if any of the things we wanted to do this summer could be brought forwards. We were active in a number of conversations. In the end, it didn't prove possible. Everybody's comfortable with what we have. We looked at both permanent and loans if somebody could make a difference for us, but none of them made sense. To get this club back where it needs to be, we need to make as many right decisions as possible. We need to make as many right decisions as possible as we can, and we need to be very disciplined. There we go. That's why it makes sense. On the women's side, we had a pretty active window, renewed Leah Williamson, Brought in 3 players. We've had a couple of successful games at the Emirates this season, and we're planning to have the North London derby in March there as well. Jack Wilshere is training with the first team. He's also doing a lot of work with Per in the academy, and there are no plans to integrate him into the first team, but it's fantastic to have him around. So there's your confirmation if you were ever wondering whether Jack Wilshere would be playing for Arsenal again. Not looking likely. So apologies if that was something you were really hoping for. In regards to the big stadium investments that's going to happen, they're looking at repairing and replacing the roof, replacing the banners outside the stadium, which fan groups are working on. So that's the... when you go to the Emirates, you've probably seen this on your social feeds, but you've got like the players standing back to back, the murals behind the badges and the Emirates logo as well. They're looking to be replaced. When the stadium first went up, they weren't there. And I remember there was one time when we released that yellow away kit. They had the British core. I remember having as part of that too. So they do change, and they're looking to change again, which I think gives an opportunity to really update the stadium because they have such a big part of the exterior. So I think replacing those, still like them, but I think replacing those with something more modern would definitely make the place look, from the exterior anyway, a lot better. They're looking at replacing the banners. They're looking at replacing the stadium crests, upgrading and replacing all the turnstile readers. If you've ever been to a game at Arsenal, trying to get in there at kind of the last 20 minutes before kickoff, maybe even before that, probably half an hour before kickoff can sometimes be a struggle because it takes so long to get in. They're also looking at replacing the light boxes, both of the big screens as well. If you've ever been to the stadium, sometimes it's really difficult to try and interpret from certain angles what's actually going on the replay screen. They are not the best quality in 2022 anymore. Increase in general admission perch spaces, however, is not something that will go down well. And in development with no committed timeline yet is the replacing of the PA system and an increase of mobile connectivity. You cannot get a mobile signal unless you have witchcraft going on in the stadium. So that's something. I see a comment in the chat box from Henry Gooner saying, I'm hoping they replace the seats. I don't think the seats don't necessarily need replacing. They just need a significant clean. Like, it's really dirty and you can barely read sometimes what seat numbers are. So I don't think you necessarily need to replace them, but they do need maintenance. That is for absolutely sure. He continues on by saying, please do keep feeding back. We are listening. We are trying to prioritise the projects that are important to our fans. If there is anything missing, please let us know. We are looking to see if there is a way that we can put solar panels on the roof as well. We then go on to conversations with Mark Ganella about the Amazon documentary. He says the way that the club behaves will be portrayed in an incredibly powerful way. And that was always the main reason why we signed up for this, to show the world how this amazing machine called Arsenal works. It will give everybody an insight that they have hitherto never had. I'm looking forward to the documentary, absolutely. This is me speaking, not Mark Ganella. I'm looking forward to it. I think it will provide some insight. I think it will be done through Arsenal tinted glasses, don't get me wrong, but I am looking forward to seeing more. There is nothing other than love and admiration for Arsene Wenger, says Mark Ganella. He is always welcome here. There aren't any plans, however, for a formal role for him, which isn't surprising, to be honest. It sounds a bit contradictory, but I'm not surprised that's the case right now. And to be honest, when I watched the Arsene Wenger documentary, I didn't feel as though the passion from Wenger is there to return either. So, I mean, I'm not too fussed about him not having a role at the club at the moment. But I'd more than happy to see him, if he gets that passion back for the club, to see him involved in some way. There was quite a discussion about Arsenal's partnership with Socios, says Peter. As one rep said, there is nothing about Socios that I think represents what I believe the Arsenal represents. The fact that our name is linked to them makes me absolutely sick. Now, I am out of the know, out of the know regarding what Socios really is, about what crypto really is. I really am not into any of it or all of it. So I'm not going to sit here and try and make any kind of judgment or pretend I've gone into any like detail about research into it, because I just don't know. I haven't got the time for it, to be honest. And people might say, what? How can you have the time for it? It's so lucrative, all of that, but I just don't. Hugh Izzy and his pals do on their podcast, but I can't get my head around it, to be fair. So I will defer to the Arsenal fans that have done their research and feel like it is an absolutely ridiculous thing to be associated with. So there we go. This concerns me a lot, says Peter. I'm worried that Arsenal don't take our objection to Socio seriously. It left me quite disappointed. That is obviously my opinion, but I can't write this without mentioning it. Fair play. Have your opinion, mate. The meeting went on for almost 2.5 hours, so many more things were talked about, but these were my highlights. The next meeting will probably be around the end of the season, and Josh Kroenke should be at that meeting. And that's kind of where I wanted to finish this kind of topic and discussing this, is because Josh wasn't at the fans forum, and whilst he was with the he appeared at a meeting with the fan advisory board ahead of the Super Bowl, I was very disappointed to find out that Josh Kroenke was not at the fans forum. This is the first fans forum of the year. It's the first fans forum after the Super Bowl win. Yes, only a few days later. But for me, it's a real missed opportunity by Josh to kind of make a bit of a statement. If it was anything to do with scheduling, and let's say the Super Bowl has kind of blocked that, and let's be real, it probably has, and the fallout from that has probably stopped him from attending, then postpone it. Reschedule the fans forum to make sure that you can be there. It was a real chance, I thought, for Josh to be there and turn up and make a statement in his presence, especially after the Super Bowl win, to kind of make a statement about how Arsenal ranks in terms of priorities. And we were told that he would be attending at least one of the 3 fans forums throughout the year. And yes, he hasn't broken any kind of promise by not turning up, because the expectation is that it'll be at the next one at the end of the season. But it would have been a real statement and message sent to the fans, and, to give us a bit of commitment that he's up for turning up for more. He's up for making true on these promises about building bridges with fans. And I don't think it should be an absolute minimum to commit to 2.5 hours of discussions with the fans forum in 365 days a year. I'm sorry, but it's pitiful. It's not enough, and it doesn't prove that the ambition is there. Turning up for the fan advisory boards prior to the Super Bowl, respect for that, granted. But you had a real chance to show back-to-back showings in fan settings. And the fan forum is something that existed prior to the full takeover in 2018. So it would have, as I say, a number of times, made a statement for me. So that was a disappointment. And I spoke with Peter who published the information. And, he did outline that he will be at the next one, and he's committed to attend once of these a season. And I did make out kind of my thoughts about, was just disappointed that he didn't show a bit more proactivity and stuck to the minimum after the January window. I mean, the January window disappointed a lot of people, despite me having my own thoughts about the January window and why it wasn't the worst January window in the world. I think a lot of people quite rightly have questioned why we didn't look to strengthen, and that there were players that moved in the January window that could have strengthened us. And I think that maybe it would have been a great example to see what he would have said about that during a time where there are a lot of questions flying about. So we'll wait and see. Anyway, let's. Kim says, I highly recommend reading some articles by Philippe Auclair on the matter, or tweets and stories by The Ugly Game. I will absolutely check that out, Kim. Thank you. If anyone knows where I can find that, I know I can just go onto Philippe Auclair, but I have to scroll down his whole feed and stuff. But if you have it to hand and you want to send me a DM with that information on Twitter or on Instagram, please do. And I will absolutely check it out. Anyway, let's go on. We've been going for 18 minutes. Wow, this flew by. I'm still going to answer some of your questions, though, so don't worry. Let's do that now. And, get them into the chat box, and we'll go through as many of them as possible. Okay, let's jump into the chat then and see what you guys are saying. Let's scroll up a little bit more. Good morning to everybody. Throwing in your good mornings that I didn't say good morning to earlier on. Thank you so much, guys, as always, for tuning in. Question from Rahil. Tom, what's your plan for double game week 26 in FPL? If I told you, I'd have to kill you. I have a plan to get back into contention. I think am I in the top 20 still? I don't know if I'm in the top 20 for the members league, but I need to get back into things, real, that's for sure, because it's not been good. It's not been a good season. The ironic thing is that in our league where I'm 20th or something, and in our fan brands league with Football London, I think I'm 3rd in that league. In our lads chat from my home, my friends from where I live, I'm bottom of our table of 6 or 7 people. The quality in my lads league is insane. They are ridiculously good. A friend of mine finished, I think, in the top 10,000 a couple of seasons ago, or maybe even last season, or I think it was 2 seasons ago now. But yeah, like they're ridiculously good, and I really need to step up my game. So fingers crossed I can. But I've got a bit of a plan, but I'm not revealing any of it to anyone. Olu says, "Hey Tom, did you see Conte's interview with beIN Sports Sky Italia yesterday? Lukaku-esque." Yes, I did. I enjoyed it very much, and to be honest, it confirmed every single doubt that we've ever had about him taking on that Spurs job. He's not happy to be there. He's kind of doing it almost as a bit of a favour to Tottenham. That's how it feels. It feels like he's doing them a favour more than anything. And I really doubt he will actually see out the full length of his contract. Maybe there's some kind of break clause in it for him in the summer if they don't achieve what they want to set out to achieve. I'd be shocked to see him there again next season, but we'll see if he is. MFB says, "I'm confused about Saliba. Will he ever play for Arsenal?" Yeah, the hope is and the intention is, as far as we're aware, that he will return next summer. And I think the loan's been a great move for him. I think it's been fantastic to get him playing regularly. He wasn't really playing too much prior to this loan. He had that 6 months at Nice. He had some time in the under-23s, and then he was playing at Saint-Etienne the season before. And he got injured, and then the league got finished early. And people always kind of bring up the Fofana thing. By the way, people bring up the Fofana thing without really of watching him at Leicester. They watched the highlights of his performance and say he was amazing in his first season, when actually, he was inconsistent. And he had some really good performances. He also had some very average performances. But I think that what we've done with Saliba is we've been able to bring him back, hopefully now anyway, much better. Apologies for the sneeze. Ray, I think I muted myself that time, so I probably caught it. Ray says, "Not Arsenal related, but football related. Why do you look like Xhaka in a six-a-side team?" Oh, God, mate, I'm not dynamic at all. I mean, I'll comment on other players' dynamism all the time, but I am not dynamic by any stretch of the imagination. Plus, I am really unfit at the moment, and I need to get a lot fitter for my wedding, which is coming up in August. So as soon as the weather picks up a bit and I'm back healthy again, I will be going out and doing the 5Ks. So hopefully you'll be able to see a progression in these six-a-side highlight clips, Ray, and you'll be able to comment on, wow, look how much Tom moves more than he used to. You'll be able to do like a side-by-side tactical breakdown on my improvement. But yeah, don't worry. The fitness is something I'm going to be working on. Joshua says, "Hey Tom, any more news on the new midfielder for the summer transfer?" Not at the moment. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing at all. Richard says, "Do you think that if Daniel Ek brought us, we would have made signing in January?" Who knows, Richard? I don't know. I'm not fussed about us not bringing anyone in because if we had have done, there would have been no guarantee that they would have been good enough. I do think there were players that moved in January, like Bruno Guimaraes or Artur Cabral, that could have helped us. But the fact that we didn't panic buy someone, I think that's a good step for us, and it shows that we're being a little bit more careful and more thought out anyway. So there you go. I'm 13th in FPL, 44 off Ojo. You can do it. Fingers crossed. That's not bad. I thought I was worse off in the table than 13th. There is about, I don't know how many there is. There's a solid amount of people in that league. So, and if you want to join our main league, there is another TGT Open League, not just for members. I think there's in fact, I don't know. Let me get my phone up and see how many people are in those leagues, because there is lots of people that play in the TGT Fantasy League. The Discord Members League, we've got, how many people are in this? 35, and I'm 13th. That's not bad. But in the TGT Fantasy League, we've got, scrolling down, 433. What's impressive about this is that there's someone at the bottom of the table that currently has minus 3,010 points. That's impressive. And there's a friend of mine who actually plays in the league where the aim of fantasy is to be the bottom of the fantasy league. That's incredible. Minus 3,010 points. Anyway, in this main league, I'm not even in the top 100. Wow, what is this? I'm 175th. Top of the TGT league is Lucas Binden with top bids with 1,652. And very close behind him with Fight and Win Darren Hewson. 1,651 points, only 1 point behind top place. That is very impressive. I'm going to scroll down. Jasmeet Singh, I recognise his name, 1,618 points. Trying to scroll down till I see any other names that I recognise. Venkatesh, 1,588. So, wow, there is some impressive performances going on in the TGT FPL League, that is for sure. Did you, Ace? There's 450 of you watching and only 7 likes. Is there only 7 likes? Surely there's more than 7 likes. Come on, people. Hit that like button. Marcus says, will you be doing a tactical breakdown on Bailey and Tom just in case no top 4 and we get desperate? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll be able to do a job for us right back. No, I wouldn't. I've got absolutely zero chance of that whatsoever. Yeah, hacked, the Jude. Someone's definitely been hacked if they're talking about FPL, because I've been doing awful in FPL. That is for damn sure. 83 likes. Come on, guys. Let's get the lights up in the video. Olu says, Ndombele was in the team of the week in Liga with his first week back. How big of a drop in quality, by the way, Liga and APL for centre mids? It's not about that, mate. It's that Ndombele has been completely misused at Tottenham. Goes to Lyon, where he's knows what he's about, and goes in there and plays with freedom, plays with quality, plays with a responsibility. It's nothing to do with the quality of the leagues as to why Tanguy Ndombele suddenly stepped up. It's because he was so misused at Spurs. He never was able to do what he was able to do at Lyon prior to his move. Noel says, do you think Amari Hutchinson could get into the Arsenal squad next season? I mean, we've got to sign him up to a new deal first. That's the biggest issue with Amari Hutchinson, is that his deal's currently running down and there isn't long left on it. So there you go. Currently 3rd in the league. Ready for the final push, says the Jude. Are you actually 3rd in the league? Let's have a look. You are indeed, Chris. 3rd in the league, only 3 points off the top. So best of luck, Jude, in trying to get there, that's for sure. Charles says, when do you start supporting Arsenal? When did I start? To be honest, you forget. I could give you an age, but I don't remember. I don't remember the age I started supporting Arsenal, because for as long as I've... Definitely primary school, because I remember having Arsenal shirts in primary school. Probably about 7, 8 years of age, probably. It's when I found out my granddad was an Arsenal fan. So yeah, back then. So yeah, probably around just 99, just very late 90s, early noughties. Is when. So I was very lucky when I first started supporting Arsenal with what I had. And it's only gone down. It's only gone downhill since then. Ramsey says, financially, we had a very bad year. Can we afford the transfer window? Yeah, look, everybody had a really bad year, Ramsey. And, Arsenal have taken out loans to try and deal with that. And that's going to make things worse financially for Arsenal. We need to start selling players a lot better than we currently are. We need to get back into the Champions League as well. There's a combination of factors that have led us... There's been a combination of factors that have led us to be in this position, and it sucks. It absolutely sucks. But we need to be improving, and if we get into the Champions League, it's going to be a big help financially towards us too. Paul says, "Are you worried that both Tomiyasu and Tierney might be missing for Brentford?" I'm worried to the extent that they're both good players, but I'm not worried to the extent that Cedric, I thought was really good against Wolves. I mean, for all my criticism of him, he was good against Wolves. And Nuno Tavares, I like Nuno Tavares. Yes, he didn't have the best of games against Forest, but, I think when he's combined with Smith Rowe in particular on that side, as we saw it against Villa, we saw it against Watford, we saw it against Leicester, they combined excellently in those games. And it was unsurprising to see Smith Rowe score and Tavares get involved, very much so. So I'm not utterly diminished of hope if Tomiyasu and Tierney aren't ready, because I think that Cedric and Tavares, will be able to do a decent job. And we've got enough quality in the side to be able to come through. But Tomiyasu is back in training, so fingers crossed we see it. Arteta's press conference, I think, is also going to be today. I haven't had that confirmed, but I'm pretty sure. In fact, let me just have a check of what the information, see if I can find out if it is today. I'm not seeing anything come up in the planner yet, but maybe it will be 2 days before. It would make sense. If you do want to watch his press conference, we always upload them to the Arsenal Way. Link to the channel is in the description. Can we finish thirds? I mean, it's still mathematically possible, Dan, and we'd need Chelsea to slip up a little bit more, but Who knows? Aim for the stars, I say. Anyway, we've been going for just under 30 minutes. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. There might be another show this afternoon. I am conversing with Kev, Next Generation Arsenal, to talk about the Arsenal youth team and get an update on them, but it depends on how I'm feeling a bit later on. Fingers crossed I'll be fine. And fingers crossed there'll be another opportunity to do an 8 a.m. show tomorrow, but I'll let you know how I'm feeling. But we're good at the moment. We're fine. Press conference is Friday afternoon. Thank you for letting me know that. So there you go. You'll be able to watch that on the Arsenal Way tomorrow afternoon then. It's weird how they're doing it so close to the games now. It's really strange. They used to give you a couple of days. But, maybe we'll have better news about Tomiyasu by then. So fingers crossed. Thank you as always for tuning in, guys. Been an absolute pleasure speaking to you as per. And as always, up the Arsenal.